From LA Late News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LA Late.
It's a big midday here on LA Late with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we'll go over those monthly stimulus checks and now why you're likely to get more months of checks. Then we cut to the exciting details. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people in the fourth stimulus recon. These are checks for you, for seniors, for workers, for people across the board. This is not third stimulus with the children's checks. These are adults and everyone else. Then we cut to the big bill and the big vote. Ron Wyden, not Ron Wyden, but Ron Portman represented that there would be a vote ready for the bipartisan for the roads and bridges. But did he deliver? Nancy Pelosi called his bluff, and in the final 15 of the final 7, we'll go over the latest details at noontime. Is Plan B taking action? All breaking news, all happening minutes ago, and you can see all the details in the final 15 minutes of this video. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, as it raises your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits. And then we turn to the big money, as Richard from California got $22,000 for rent. He confirms to me minutes ago. It's the single biggest payout we've ever seen for rent on this channel. And then Angela got $5,000 for utilities, she reveals in the last few hours as well. The single biggest payout we've ever seen for utilities. I'm going to show you how you can get big sums of money, like $18,000 that Louis got for SNAP as well. It's a big day. It's a big noontime. I'm excited for all the details. A lot of breaking news in the final 15, starting right here, right now, on Noontime. Good noontime, everybody. How you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful day. The weather is spectacular here in Santa Monica, California today. It is literally paradise here today. It rained 2 days ago, then was cool this morning. It is absolutely crystal clear and gorgeous. Everything is wet and clean. It's just gorgeous. How's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from. Congratulations to Richard for $22,000 for rent, the single biggest payout ever in this channel. In this recording, we're going to go to the exciting details about the fourth stimulus check, why you're likely to get more months of checks. Then deal, done. The $3.5 trillion of checks under the fourth stimulus recon is a done deal. All they have to do is call the vote. They've agreed upon the price tag, and they're agreeing on it. And that's coming up in the second part of this video. Then in the third part, we go over the vote, the bill, the date. Ron Portman, Republican, senator, said that he was ready with the Republicans to vote on the roads and bridges yesterday. The vote didn't happen. So what happened? Nancy Pelosi called his bluff. And so is Plan B ready with Chuck Schumer? It's getting very exciting because Plan B is our money. And I have that final 15 minutes in this video, stay to the very end. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime. SSI, SSDI, and veterans, yes, this is the money you were promised. It's happening. I'll explain the details. And then we cut to the big money across the board. Richard, $22,000 for rent. Angela, $5,000 for utilities. The two biggest payouts we've ever seen in the history of this channel coming in the last 24 hours. Then a snap, Louis, $18,000. I'm going to show you how you can get all this big money. And this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons, and live right now at noontime, direct from Santa Monica. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for yesterday being one of our biggest days on subscriber growth. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Stay with this channel because coming up at 1 o'clock is Afternoons LA throwback video, then a new Afternoons LA to 3 o'clock and a new Evenings LA to 5. Sirloin at 8. And with that, let's get right into that monthly stimulus check from those Democrats. Comparing House versus Senate starting right now. When you look at House versus Senate, everything is impacted because of Delta. House, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate, July to December. Let's look at the payouts. House, $1,000 after the first month, $2,000. Senate, monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Deliciousness, $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. 4 weeks ago, we thought the pandemic was over. That would mean that the house would just be 1 year at checks, 12 checks. 3 weeks ago, we realized the pandemic's not over. 2 weeks ago, we realized the pandemic is certainly not over. And last week, we realized the pandemic is far from over. If that's the case, the House bill would pay pandemic plus 1 year, which would be more than 12 checks, which would then be from the House more than $13,000. Compare that to this. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Vote House or Senate, House or Senate. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. The fourth stimulus check will be coming to every individual who got a third stimulus check the Democrats represent. Single individual, $75,000 or less, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Just double it. Family of four, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Just quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, VA, and everyone else, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income, it's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for everyone. Children, adults, adult dependents, everyone across the board. And the fourth stimulus check is a monthly check, not a waivable check. I unfortunately learned that lesson badly over the weekend. I was at Mitch's Lobster Fest, and I saw him from afar. So I went up to him and I said, "Hello, Senator McConnell." "Hello, L.A. I didn't recognize you without your purple shirts." "Yes, how are you?" I wanted to come up to you and actually, say hello and introduce myself rather than wave from afar. "Well, L.A., I'm not a waivable check." I looked at him, I said, "Well, Senator McConnell, you're not even a monthly check. Get out of here, L.A." And that was my end of my visit at the Lobster Fest. I went to Jalapal's, Twister convention. So after that, the second stimulus check, it was no comparison to that of it. Fourth stimulus check is a monthly stimulus check. And in the second part of this video, we'll be going over the recon. It's deliciousness. The recon is providing $3.5 trillion of checks to the American people. And we have a done deal for the price tag and the passage. The Democrats met days ago and agreed they're passing the fourth stimulus recon. It's $3.5 trillion of checks. And the second part of this video, I'll be going over how many checks and what the checks are for. It's coming up later. And then in the third part of this video, the breaking news. Breaking news you're hearing for the first time on Noontime. A lot of breaking news since last night. We'll be going over whether Ron Portman's representation that the bipartisan bill is ready for a vote this week happened or didn't happen. Nancy Pelosi called for his cards to show his cards and also called his bluff. Was Ron Portman holding a full deck or did he fold like a lawn chair? I'll go over all the details. This is huge because remember, this tees up your recon vote. But I'll also reveal the Plan B that Chuck Schumer has in place. And is Plan B taking effect today? I have all those details in the breaking final 15. Stay to the final 15 minutes of the video. It'll explain everything that's happening. It's very complex, but I'll make it easy breezy for you. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up. If you're on SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits, it's what was promised on the campaign trail. Was not delivered, but now it's happening. Yes, I'm very excited for you. But first, let's get a preview. Let's get some money. Boy, the numbers are absolutely insane. You are just doing an incredible job. When I first started posting these videos about rent, I said $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. You saw the breaking news. Overnight, Richard, a citizen here in California, got $22,000 for rent. How did he get it? He did what I've always told viewers to do. Watch the videos and learn. And he was watching the videos, he says in a private message, since earlier this year. And then he knew to look in different places. He knew that sometimes the state has more money than the city and county. He's watching the videos. And so suddenly when California went live with a program, he pounced, hawk, like a purple hawk immediately, got the money, and the program shut down shortly thereafter. He just got approved $22,000. It's the biggest payout we've ever seen in the history of this channel for rent for a single person. Then we got a big breaking news as well about utilities. Angela got $5,000, the highest I've ever seen for payout of utilities on this channel as well. Let's go over all these details, but first, if you're on the live chat, post your success for rent, post your success for utilities, post your success for SNAP. Success can be $1, it can be $2, it can be any dollar value. We all measure success differently. Let's go over all the details. Get a pen and paper ready. I'm going to show you how to get rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. And if you're new to this channel, this is what we do. We are not a check tracking channel. We don't track checks, we cash checks. And in April of last year, people's EIDL loan and grant checks were not coming. They were promised, they were not coming. Days passed and they were not coming. But I got them approved. I got $25 million of EIDL loans checks approved. Then in fall of 2020, second stimulus was not a law yet. There was no check to track. But I got viewers $250,000 of rent checks. Viewers like Tyrone got $15,000 for his family of 4 out of Boston, paid all his rent all the way to next year. But now we're doing the same. The only difference is you. You have defied logic. Your numbers are absolutely incredible. I'm so proud of you. First, rent. I usually set $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. Richard, $22,000 for rent. Nisi, $20,000 for rent. These are astronomical achievements. I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy for these families. Then utilities. I said maybe $300 for utilities. $3,000 was a regular occurrence. Then Angela overnight broke all records of this channel. $5,000 for utilities. Then Snap. I said $5,000 to $6,000 for Snap viewers were getting. Then John came in and shattered it with $10,000 to $12,000. Congratulations, John. And then Louie got even bigger, $18,000. Absolutely astronomical. Get that pen and paper ready. We're going to go over all this big money right now, and you're going to reach out to different places, just like Richard did. He knew there's different places for different eligibility. Each place has different eligibility. They have their own pot of money, so keep on applying. If you get a no, reach out to the next. Also listen for the keywords, because the keywords viewers tell me make the difference in getting it landed where it needs to land. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, rent assistance or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's fan club. They don't know those things. And congratulations, Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money. And finally, a throwback. If you've gotten rent before for this channel, get it again. Kevin Lee, one of my original viewers on this channel, who was not given his EIDL grant when due, had to wait 3 months to get his EIDL grant approved. But in that time, he got rent because of this channel. But guess what? Months passed, and he got rent again after the next period came around. So if you got money for these things before, get it again. All right, the next pot of the money is the money for Snap. If you got rent, post in the live chat right now, or utilities. Snap is wonderful. Ling got it for herself, her son, and her mom, Gail, got as well. But John, $10,000 to $12,000. Louis, $18,000. I'm so excited for you guys. What is Snap? It is money for food. How do you get Department of Agriculture? Reach out to DOA. How much does it pay? A lot. A family of 4 out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Whoa, why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. And SNAP is just great. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. So congratulations to you. And if you got in SNAP, post in the live chat. You're killing it. We're only 13 minutes of this video, and we've seen these astronomical numbers. $18,000 for SNAP, $22,000 for rent, and we're just getting started. The next pot of the money is the money coming back from your states due to computer error. States have been ordered to return unemployment benefits due to computer error to you. Federal government is ordered to return to you. Where's the landing direct deposit? Can you track it? Yeah, contact your state. Say, hey, state, where's that check due to for unemployment benefits due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works? One viewer got $3,000 for us. Another viewer got $5,000. The last pot of the money is the refund check from IRS. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. If you got this as well, post in the live chat. Now, we have an update from IRS. Yeah, they say the latest wave is going out. Someone actually had a really nice comment on Mornings LA. They contacted IRS and they found out more about the waves. So I guess there's more information about when waves are happening. But IRS said there's a new wave every week throughout the rest of summer. The latest wave, average payout is $1,265. Direct deposit starts July 14th, and the paper checks this round started July 16th. Now, if you're in the live chat and you've not posted your success story, please do. Because when you do, you help other viewers. That's the spirit of this channel, helping other viewers first. If you got these monies and you post in the live chat, we have 2,000 people in the live chat, inspires those people to go get the money. Number 2, if you got one item and you see Art Sullivan who got 3 or Nisi who got 3, inspires you to get the other items. And number 3, that we get an update about the numbers. We see these numbers are getting bigger and bolder, and there you go. Well, this last pile of money is the refund check from IRS. Let's say you had $9,000, you paid $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes and unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you get back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? Go into irs.gov into a transcript search and it'll reveal that when that refund check is coming for you, it'll reveal stuff you never knew. First, it'll reveal the check that you paid and the tax return you filed. But then after that, it'll also reveal stuff you never knew. Some stuff that you don't want to know. It'll reveal when Mitch appeared on Star Search. Was that hairstyle Amazon hair? And it'll reveal the refund check you're getting back from IRS. Can we top that? We can, as we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people under the fourth stimulus recon. This is your money. The deal has been reached. That's $3.5 trillion, and that it's coming to you. Senate Democrats have agreed upon it. All you have to do is vote on the bill. And this achievement is really wonderful. A lot of checks for everyone. This is not the children's checks from third stimulus. These are everyone else. Seniors, workers. It's coming up later in this video. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you. Now, how do we get to this spot? We originally had this enormous recon that had roads and bridges in there. And before July 4th, they asked the Democrats, would you vote in favor of this? No, it's too big. Take roads and bridges out. So they had to. And that's why it didn't get passed by July 4th. They took the roads and bridges out and then made it passable. And by making it passable, it means they would vote in favor of it. And they have now. They've agreed upon the price tag of $3.5 trillion. We had that confirmation from a conservative publication that said originally the higher the price tag was on the recon, the harder it was to pass. There you go, confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon, put in the bipartisan roads and bridges, it made the overall price tag of the recon smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry, Mitch, sorry to set you up. But later in the video, you'll see that the Republicans don't feel set up. They think they have it at the finish line. But do they? And does one of them think they're being set up? And who is that guy? That's coming up later in this video. But the progressives really were ecstatic about this because they originally had this enormous recon, shrunk it, and then they were able to add some more stuff in there. Got it to a price tag, and they are ecstatic about this $3.5 trillion of checks for you. Previously, Representative Ilhan Omar says we need a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, Elon, $3.5 trillion, congratulations. And Representative Richie Torres said we have to have a larger recon. You got it, $3.5 trillion. And the Progressives caucus was meeting with the White House daily to ensure that the recon went big enough. They got it, $3.5 trillion. How do they achieve this? By protecting what's in the recon, your money, checks, progressive checks. They were told to do this, as Brian Schatz, Democrat Hawaii progressive, and Jalapal, Democrat Washington, had said. The White House, quote, considers the progressive priorities in the recon their own priorities. So what is a recon? How do you vote on it? Where do you see the recon? Who writes it? And everything you need to know, let's go over it starting right now. It's important for you to know the terminology because I only say two terms on this channel, recon, bipartisan. But unfortunately, broadcast media and the president uses other terms. And trust me, I was tuning into my favorite broadcast media channel this morning, Financial News, and they were butchering it because they were literally jumping back and forth between the two different programs as though it was one, and it made it very confusing to follow. Even a person who records videos, I couldn't follow what they're saying. So I'm going to make it easy breezy so you know right now. It's not that difficult when it's explained. Recon is your money. It's for stimulus. And then not your money is roads and bridges, bipartisan. So we only have two words on this channel. That's easy. This channel only has two words, recon and bipartisan. The question is, what are these other words that the president's using? Let's go over them. Recon, the other words are reconciliation, budget bill. You'll recognize it by the price tag, $3.5 trillion, or the people quoted in the article, like a Bernie Sanders. Bipartisan, also called infrastructure. This is roads and bridges, not your money. You recognize it by its price tag, smaller, $1.5 trillion. And you'll recognize it by the people quoted in the article, like a Ron Portman, Mitt Romney, or Kristen Sinema. Okay, now it's easy and breezy. Let's go over how it gets written. A recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to pass by Democrats. The authors of the recon are House subcommittees. They're the lead authors with the Senate subcommittees helping them. Under the Constitution, different subcommittees are delegated different subject matters to write. For example, the subcommittee House Ways and Means is responsible for writing stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. When each of those subcommittees, let's say there's 10 of them, are finished with what they're writing, let's say it's 10 pages, they send it up to Chuck. Combine it, 100 pages. He puts a big ass on it. Laverne Shirley? No. Sassy? No. Salty? No. Schumer? No. Senate? Yeah. Senate bill. That is your recon. Before then, we're not entitled to, under the Constitution, to see what they're doing. There's no transparency rule. So we don't have to see what they're writing, not writing, taking in, taking out, voting in favor, voting against. Ultimately, when it's debuted, it's debut. It's sort of like a pop singer who has an upcoming album, doesn't want to show you what the tracks are until they're released. And that's what mainstream media and myself both agree upon. We haven't seen the recon, hence we don't know the finality of what's in the recon. But later in this video, I'll go over with you that even when the recon bill is debuted, it's not law yet. We have an emoji for that one as well. It's not law yet, and it will get modified. In fact, Democrats have said other Democrats are modifying it after its debut. More about that coming up in a second. But, so if you see a naysayer say, I haven't heard of this and I haven't seen and I haven't heard, guess what? Neither have I. It hasn't been released. That's why you haven't heard. Well, can we top that? Yes. As Jalapal wrote Chuck a letter recently saying Chuck called the vote on the recon. This letter is very important today because you're going to see Chuck is ready to call the vote on the recon. Yeah, so Jalapal written Chuck a letter recently saying call the vote on the recon. The letter is signed by 12 House Democrats who are among the 100+ who had written the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks to the fourth stimulus package. Whoa, that's big news. It is. Let's see if we can top that. 7 subcommittees of the House Ways and Means. The same one you were just going over? Yep, that's subcommittee. Recently wrote the president a letter saying we're putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus recon. Whoa, that is great. That is a big promise. Purple Power, you got to keep these people their promise. They're promising the American people this. Well, they're also promising a fifth stimulus check next year. Wow, that's coming up later in this video. Can we top that? We can. As the president has done it, Biden has done it. 5 weeks ago, you saw him overseas signing a ceremonial signature, a provision. That provision became a law just a few days ago. It's the Global Minimum Corporate Tax Rate Treaty, and it now raises the global minimum corporate tax rate. But it helps for stimulus. Why? Because it's confusing. It's just confusing. And because it's not in for stimulus, it makes it easier to pass. First, it's easier to write for stimulus recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. It's made easier to call the vote because this confusing thing ain't in there. It's easier to vote on the fourth stimulus recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. And it's easier to pass the fourth stimulus recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. Can we top that? We can. In the final 15 minutes of this video, you can see all breaking news from noontime today. You're going to see whether Ron Portman really did have the votes ready to call the vote on the bipartisan roads and bridges. Or was he running out the clock on the Democrats so that they wouldn't get their recon done? Do the Democrats have a backup plan? Did the Democrats call the bluff on Ron Portman? And did a certain person tell Ron Portman to call off the negotiations? That's coming up in the final 15 or the final 7. It's all breaking at noontime. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up. And is there something more wonderful than that? Yes, the volunteers. If you're having problems finding that rent, that utilities, that internet, that SNAP, and you tried to find it yourself, always try to find it yourself, because when you try to find it yourself, you really, really do succeed. But if you're having problems, don't worry. Reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? Open the description to this video. Go down in the description to where you find an emoji of a house. Click the link. It sends you over to the community page. That's news.la.com/community. On the community page are a series of volunteers separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them, and they'll help you get that big money for rent. And I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with the big, exciting details about the final 15 of the final 7. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Late Daily for the excitement of the new LA Late live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA Late at 9 a.m. Home LA Late returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA Late at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. And the excitement continues right now on Noontime LA, direct from Santa Monica, live at noontime. A lot of breaking news about your fourth stimulus, and it's all coming out in the final 15 of the final 7. How are you? Also coming up is fifth stimulus, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. 400,000. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for yesterday being one of our biggest days of subscriber growth in recent weeks. Also, like the video. A lot of people have been forgetting to like the videos, so make sure you like them. And consider becoming a member. The link's on the top of the channel, the pinned comment. While campaigning for president, the president promised this raise of benefits for fifth stimulus, but he didn't deliver it. And now the Democrats are taking care of it for you by putting it into fifth stimulus. This is absolutely wonderful. This will be part of the fifth stimulus package, which will go to drafting in about a September, out to vote in about an October, law about November, and then the benchmark in December. First, they'll raise your benefit limits up. Then they'll remove the asset limit. Then they'll apply the inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over all the details of this, starting with who this applies to. You. It applies to you. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad Benefits, Veterans Benefits, SSA, multiple beneficiaries, or casino benefits. They'll raise your benefits up one big time. That's step number one. Number two, then they'll apply the benchmark. The benchmark is applied in December. What's the new benchmark? Inflation. Where is inflation going? It's becoming transitory. That's a key word that Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, testified on Capitol Hill last week and said. Transitory is a fancy word to say a temporary spike. It's going to reach its highest price point in December. Yes, right when they apply your benchmark. So how high is inflation going? Well, there's a lot of interesting reports out today saying maybe inflation is going even higher. New housing starts numbers out is very strong today. Most people are still keeping around where I keep it, about 5% as that transitory peak. Well, first they'll raise your benefits up, then they'll apply the benchmark. If the benchmark's 5%, then your benefits will step up 5%, not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. So if the inflation rate is 2% the year after that, you'll be at +2, +5%. It's wonderful news. Then they're going to move the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law. This says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. Now you have room to have some muddled, this ain't muddled. Who called this muddled? You'll have some room for some Casey Royal. Who called this Casey Royal? This is not Casey Royal or anything. Sorry, Canute. It's blue. It's not teal, it's blue. They'll have some room to put some blue Crayola crowns in your hand and some stimulus checks. Then they're going to move the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. You'll be able to do a pair dance just like Sandy and Rob. They'll no longer fear the marriage penalty and no longer be penalized by it. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. Yes, those House Ways and Means Committee members represent there's also fifth stimulus check next year. It would not overlap with fourth. And then finally, there's a lot of other things happening in fifth stimulus. But here's what you need to know, is that if you're in the live chat and you see people with that emoji of a purple hawk next to their name and you don't have one, you need to get one. It's becoming a member. The membership link's under the video. If you notice why people in the live chat that are members are getting big sums of money, it's because they're a purple hawk. Hawk, hawk. They pounce and get all this money when it lands. They're not tracking checks. They're cashing checks, like $22,000 of rent, like $5,000 for utilities, like $18,000 for SNAP. They're cashing $18,000 because guess what? I may not be able to get you a check to fix the roof on your house, but I can certainly get you a check to pay for your food if you qualify for a stimulus check. I'll be able to get you SNAP benefits. And ultimately, if I can pay for one bill, that's one less bill you have to pay. So consider becoming a member, because daily I deliver to you a breakdown of all the big money that's in third stimulus for you to get. Delivered to you from the YouTube community page to you, from me to you. Here's what you need to know. When second stimulus became law, it was a $600 stimulus check. I said, I'm going to get you $6,000. I got Tyrone $14,000, $15,000. When third stimulus became law early this year, I said, I'll get you, instead of $1,400, I'll get you $14,000. I got Richard $22,000. I got Nisi $23,000. Consider becoming a member to get all this big money across the board. And with that, let's go into the final 15 of the final 7 starting right now. The final 15 minutes of the breaking news at noontime. And boy, there's a lot of breaking news. I know it's very complicated. I'm going to try to make it as easy breezy as I can for you. First, your money recon deal done. The Senate Democrats have agreed upon the price tag and agreed they're passing it. So this is huge, as Tim Kaine says, Senator, that once you agree upon the price tag, you're sensibly done. Bernie Sanders called this day historic because with $3.5 trillion, he says everything he wants to spend money on is being spent at 100%, just in half the amount of time, presumably, because he said he went into $7 trillion, he agreed to 3.5, and he said he just did it for less a period of time. This recon, $3.5 trillion of checks, is checks for everyone, not checks for children. That was third stimulus. There are checks for children included in here, but not just for checks for children. And there's checks for seniors, checks for workers, and more. While we do not have the recon bill, I do have a preview of some of the other items that are in there. First, free school meals for all, checks, tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, immigration reform checks, farming checks, election checks, internet checks. They're going to provide money to local cities so they can start their own free internet company and provide you free internet. Incredible. Then clean energy checks. And here come the checks for my workers and my seniors. Checks for workers, checks for independent contractors, checks for collective bargaining, and then my seniors. Checks for Medicare expansions, checks for lower eligibility age, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing aid. Okay, let's get over now to the roads and bridges, the bipartisan. So the roads and bridges, Mitt Romney 2 weeks ago said that the vote would be ready last week or this week. I said at the time, it's not happening last week. It's going to happen this week. That's what I said 2 weeks ago. I was right, and so was mainstream media. But what happened with Chuck Schumer late last week? He called a vote on the roads and bridges, the bipartisan, to end discussion of it. Not on the bill, but to end discussion of it. I said it was going to fail, but I said it was going to help because it was going to put fire under people's feet to get things done. It worked. It did not pass, but within minutes after it failed, Ron Portman, Republican senator, delivered to Chuck Schumer a letter saying 11 Republicans are ready to call for a vote on the bipartisan yesterday, Monday. Yes, that's wonderful, great news. You know why that's wonderful, great news? Because, as I've been reporting for the last month, the recon, our money, goes for a vote before the bipartisan roads and bridges. That's what Nancy, Chuck, the president, Jalopov have all said. They're calling the vote on our money, the recon, before the bipartisan. So if the bipartisan's ready, then the recon can go for a vote. You've also seen over the last 2 months where there were certain problematic Democrats who said, I won't call the vote on our money, recon, unless the bipartisan roads and bridges is ready for a vote sometime shortly thereafter. Now Ron Portman says it's ready. Well, on Friday, I said I have 2 people to weigh assurances upon. I have Mitt Romney's assurances on one side, and I have Ron Portman on the other. Both Republicans, both senators. What was my opinion of the situation? Still my opinion of the situation is I put a lot of weight behind Mitt Romney and very little weight behind Ron Portman. Mitt Romney has delivered on price, details, writing, timelines over and over again over the last year. He just really delivers. He's always on point. He's very dependable. Ron Portman, on the other hand, leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Why? Because he's the guy from May last year who, when you're losing your home, your business, and everything, said, get back to work, you're lazy, I'm cutting off your unemployment benefits. That's Ron Portman. And suddenly he became the self-appointed lead negotiator for the bipartisan group on the Republican side in just the last few days. He wasn't before. So this is all sort of, yeah, I put more weight behind Mitt Romney. What happened on Friday? On Friday, there was a series of reports that all came out that Chuck Schumer was readying a backup plan. Why do the reports say Chuck Schumer's readying a backup plan B? Because of this. there were enough Democrats, including Chuck Schumer, who thought this is looking like the GOP's negotiations over the last 15 years. Several times in the last 15 years, GOP negotiators have said to Democrats, done, I'm done, I'm ready to call the vote, I'm ready to call the vote, I'm ready to call the vote, 1 minute left, ready to call the vote, 60 seconds left, ready to call the vote, 12 seconds left, ready to call, oh, we're out of time, sorry. And then they run out the clock. And so there's enough Democrats who have been unhappy with Republicans running out the clock on them in the past, because when you run out the clock, you're left with nothing. So the meeting on Friday was to deal with that sort of concern. Several articles said that talked about different Plan Bs, but only one talked about this one. I believe this is what a reliable article. It was by a major publication, and this is what reportedly transpired during that Plan B meeting. Senate Democrats all in the room and Chuck Schumer. He reportedly said, we think that Ron Portman may not have Republican votes. We may think that Ron Portman's trying to run out the clock. He can't run out the clock on us Democrats again. And with that, the Plan B meeting was the following. The Plan B meeting was reportedly that we will call the vote on the recon if the bipartisan is not ready. Oh my goodness, now this is huge news. This is huge news because this is really what was important. That Plan B is critical. That Plan B is critical because basically they're saying we're calling the vote on the recon, even if the bipartisan is not ready. What happened? Because this is certainly different than we had a few weeks ago. Remember a few weeks ago, problematic Democrats said, I'm not going to call the vote on the recon if the bipartisan is not ready. Well, even the most problematic Democrats, according to this article, said that they really believe they're being set up to run out the clock by the Republicans and don't want the clock to run out. And they said, Chuck, just call the vote. Just call the vote on the recon. Okay, now that brings us up to Sunday. What happened on Sunday? Ron Portman and Nancy Pelosi appeared on Broadcast News, the same channel, the same show, different parts of the same 1-hour program. And Ron Portman doubled down, saying his recon, his bipartisan, is ready for vote. Ready for vote on Monday. Nancy said, I'm calling your bluff. I don't think you're ready. I don't think you have the number of votes from the Republicans. I think you're trying to run out the clock. Which brings us to Monday. What happened on Monday? Nancy Pelosi called Ron Portman's cards, said, show your cards. You ready for the vote? He folded like a lawn chair. He did not have the votes ready for the Republicans. Ding, 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 ding. Nancy Pelosi was right. Chuck Schumer was right. The Democratic senators were all right. Ron Portman did not have the Republicans ready to call the vote on the roads and bridges, which would, in essence, suggest that Ron Portman was trying to run out the clock on the Democrats again. Now, over the weekend, a series of reports claim that former President Donald Trump called up the Republicans on the bipartisan side and told them, do not do the deal. Do not do the deal because it's trying to set up the recon for the Democrats. Do not do the deal. Hard to say whether they listened to him or not, but they didn't have the votes, the Republicans. So now let's go to what you need to know about the bill and the vote. First, when you see the bill debut with that S on it on the Senate side, it's not a done deal. It will get modified, and modification is good for you. The bill has been worked up in subcommittees of the House, but not everyone's on a subcommittee. A lot of people don't have the honor of being on a subcommittee. And when they see the bill and you're a senator or House member, you want to modify, you want to bite of the apple. And that's good for you. Why? Because when we see the bill, we don't have bill yet, not bill yet. We have an emoji for that. But when we see the bill, then the emoji is not law yet. The bill may be imperfect or it may be perfect. No reason to celebrate if it's perfect, because it may get modified to become imperfect, and no reason to be sad if it's imperfect, because it can get modified to be perfect. In fact, House Democrats on Friday said, we're ready to modify whatever is given to us because we have not had our opportunity to bite at the apple. So there you go. Let's recap then. Number one, the recon will be providing $3.5 trillion of checks to the American people. Number two, a Plan B reportedly in place as of last Friday suggests that the Democrats will be calling a vote on the recon even if the bipartisan is not ready, roads and bridges. Number three, as of now, it looks like Ron Portman's bluff has been called. He does not have Republicans ready for the bipartisan. Number four, when the bill is debuted on the Senate side, then we have several steps: Senate, House, Senate vote-a-rama 2 days, and then the president. During those different steps, they have the opportunity to modify, and modify helps us because ultimately these are bills. They may be perfect or they may be imperfect, and along the way we'll get it done. And with that, it's going to be a very big week of a lot of twists and turns. I know that's a lot of information, File 15, but hopefully I made it clear enough for you. And coming up next is Afternoons LA at 1 o'clock with a throwback show. Stay on this video. It'll automatically take you there when this video's over. And then at 3 o'clock is the new Afternoons LA taped minutes ago, and then Evenings LA at 5. And with that, stay informed, stay in focus. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers of YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.